The Zephyrian High Council chamber fell silent as Commander Velthar's crimson eyes swept across the assembled delegates. Representatives from 12 star systems sat in perfect formation, their bioluminescent patterns flickering with what the humans might have called smugness. "The war is over," Velthar announced, his voice carrying the authority of a species that had conquered half the galaxy. "The Terran coalition has been decimated, their fleets scattered, their colonies burned. What remains of humanity cowers in the outer rim, subsisting on scraps and false hope." Murmurs of approval rippled through the chamber. The Cathari ambassador's crystalline form chimed with satisfaction, while the Morgani delegates' tentacles writhed in what passed for celebration among their kind. "We have achieved what our ancestors deemed impossible," continued Velthar. "Total victory over the species that dared challenge our supremacy. The humans' reputation for adaptability has been greatly exaggerated. But in the shadows of Kepler 442b, far from the victorious proclamations of the Zephyrian Alliance, something stirred in the ruins of Research Station Echo 7. Dr. Elena Vasquez pressed her blood-stained palm against the quantum resonance chamber, her breath forming. Clouds in the frigid air of the barely functioning life support systems. "Sarah," she whispered to her AI companion, the only other conscious entity left in the facility. "Are you certain this will work?" The holographic projection flickered, Sarah's form wavering like a candle in the wind. "The probability matrices are unconventional, Elena. We're not summoning reinforcements from our own timeline. We're reaching across dimensional barriers to call upon humanity itself, not as it is, but as it could be." Elena's fingers danced across the quantum interface, her movements precise despite the exhaustion that threatened to claim her. Around them, the station groaned under the weight of atmospheric processors failing one by one. She was the last human scientist alive in this sector, and perhaps their final hope. "The Zephyrians think they understand us," she muttered, initiating the sequence. "They studied our military tactics, our weapons, our politics, but they never bothered to understand what makes us human." The resonance chamber hummed to life, reality bending around the focal point as Elena channeled every remaining ounce of the station's power into the summoning protocol. Space-time folded, and somewhere in the quantum foam between dimensions, something answered. 3 days later, Commander Velthar received a transmission that made his blood run cold. It came from the supposedly dead system of Kepler 442b, broadcast, on frequencies that shouldn't exist. "This is Captain Marcus Chen of the UES Indomitable," the voice crackled through the static. "I understand you've been having some trouble with my species." Velthar's tactical display showed nothing. No ships, no energy signatures, no trace of human technology. Yet the transmission was undeniably real, carrying biometric data that confirmed its human origin. "Impossible," Velthar hissed. "We destroyed every human vessel in that sector." "Respectfully, Commander," came the reply, and Velthar could hear the smile in the human's voice. "You destroyed every human vessel from this dimension. Dr. Vasquez has done something rather extraordinary. What followed could only be described as a masterclass in human warfare, not the kind the Zephyrians had studied and countered, but warfare elevated to an art form by necessity and desperation. Ships materialized from quantum foam, crewed by humans who had fought different wars against different enemies, but who shared the same unbreakable core of determination. These weren't the humans the Alliance had defeated. These were humans who had faced extinction and chosen to fight anyway. Humans who had learned to turn their greatest weakness, their mortality, into their greatest strength. Each crew had been summoned from realities where humanity had fallen, carrying with them the bitter wisdom of defeat and the burning need for redemption. The Battle of Kepler 442b lasted 17 hours. The Zephyrian Third Fleet, fresh from their victory tour, found themselves facing human tactics they had never encountered because they had never existed in their timeline. Quantum-entangled fighters that shared consciousness across dimensional barriers. Weaponized empathy that turned the Alliance's hive mind advantages against them. Strategies born from desperation in 1,000 different realities. Commander Velthar's final transmission to the High Council was brief. They didn't summon their military. They summoned their soul. When the smoke cleared, Dr. Elena Vasquez stood in the observation deck of the captured Zephyrian flagship, watching as human vessels from across the quantum spectrum began the work of rebuilding. Each ship would return to its own reality eventually, but they would carry with them the knowledge that humanity, in all its infinite variations, would never truly surrender. Sarah's hologram materialized beside her, more stable now with the ship's advanced projectors. The other realities are reporting similar successes, Elena. The summoning protocol is spreading across dimensional barriers. Every defeated humanity is learning to call upon its alternatives. Elena smiled, placing her hand on the viewport as Earth, their Earth, appeared in the distance, still scarred but now defended by an impossible fleet. "Let the Zephyrians keep their original victory," she said softly. "We'll take the war they thought was over and show them what humans do when they have nothing left to lose. We find a way to keep fighting anyway." In the depths of space, the echo of human laughter carried across dimensions, a sound that would haunt the Zephyrian Alliance's dreams for generations to come. They had assumed the war was over. They had been catastrophically wrong.